The air.
PPG is short for powered paraglider, and Chaco's so big I need something like this contraption to get the lay of the land. But strong winds can make flying tricky, even fatal if I'm not careful.
80 pounds of wind machine. He puts out a 28 horsepower.
One small step for man. Prop clear?
If you can run 30 feet with 80 pounds on your back without getting out of breath, you can fly a PPG. If it's calm, you can travel about 25 miles per hour and stay up for 3 hours on just 4 gallons of gas. Pretty economical for views like these. But the fun is flying slow and low. It's amazing how much you can see. That's Chaco. In its heyday, from about 900 to 1150 AD, it was a huge cultural center for much of the Four Corners. People dragged tree trunks for up to 50 miles to erect these enormous buildings. The biggest is Pueblo Bonito. It was 4 or 5 stories high, with 800 rooms. Archaeologists believe that 1,000 people lived here, in what's been called the largest apartment building in the world until the late 1800s. There's nothing like it in prehistoric North America. Once again, I feel the need to see it up close and on foot. Chaco was much more than just a city. It was a ceremonial powerhouse where people gathered from miles around to worship their gods in great kivas like these. But by 1150, the city was completely abandoned, its inhabitants scattered. Archaeologists are still trying to figure out what went wrong. Was it drought? Too many people with too few resources? Or did something more sinister take place to bring down this great city? The crumbling stone walls don't offer many clues, but the wooden beams might. I've come to one of the only intact rooms left in Pueblo Bonito.
Is this really a prehistoric beam?
Oh yes, this is the original roof support of this room.
Wow. And we're going all the way to the center of the log?
Center of the log, where the pin
Drilling
is.
into an ancient roof beam may seem pretty strange. But when studying structures like Chaco, this is one of the most important tools archaeologists use.
18-volt DeWalt.
I'm getting what's called a core sample, a little piece of wood that can help determine when this room was built. Dendrochronology is the science of dating wood by studying tree rings, and nobody knows more about it in the American Southwest than Dr. Jeff Dean.
How accurate? I'm just wondering, how accurate is the data?
Well, when we take this core back to the lab and analyze it, we can date the year in which that tree was cut down.
Really?
Yeah, like there is no plus or minus. This is, say, 1120. And it's 1120 and not 1119 and not 1121.
Is that far enough?
Yeah.
10 minutes later, and I've got it.
First we take this
My own piece of data to add to the scientific record.
All right, let me show you what we have here. If you hold out your hand, we should produce a core from the log.
Amazing. Ooh, it's warm.
You can blow the sawdust away.
Ooh! I dropped the core. Still good.
Okay, well, let's take that
Turns out this little sample carries an amazing amount of information.
Tell me what we got.
Yep. Let me show you what we just did in there. This is a cross-section of another Chaco beam. So this core is dated by matching the ring width variability in this sample to ring width variability in this one.
So each, let me make sure I get this, each ring is a year.
Each ring is a year. Big rings mean wet years. Small rings mean dry years.
And then by laying this core sample against it,
we can
find out
where the core sample
where this
is.
goes in the years.
That's right.
And then how do we know what year we're looking at? Is there a master chart that we lay this against?
Yes, this is part of the master chart, and this series of ring widths in here are compared to those. And once you find a match, you can date the core.
Thousands of core samples taken all over the Southwest add up to produce a graph charting the annual rainfall from 450 AD to the present.
So looking at this, was drought the cause of the Chaco decline?
Well, there was a major drought, and a lot of people think that drought caused the abandonment of the canyon and the collapse of the system.
Do you think so?
Well, I think it was part of the equation, but there are other factors involved as well.
What were the others?
I think there was a combination of drought, adverse conditions in the floodplain, plus the high population. Obviously, these ruins represent a large number of people, so you have these three factors that combine to trigger the abandonment of the canyon.